So, how many of you remember talking about this yesterday, about adding on to subtract as one of our strategies? We're going to be focusing on this a little bit more today as one of our models for modeling subtraction of 3-digit numbers. So, does it only work with 3-digit numbers? Of course not. Works with all numbers, but specifically we're looking at 3-digit numbers primarily this week. Okay, so read along with me on page 59. It's that problem. Perez has 205 seeds. He plants 137 seeds. How many seeds does Perez have left? Now, again, going back, you all know what's coming right now. My flare pen's coming out because I always close read all of my math problems. I want you all to get into that habit. We're circling those important numbers. We're boxing those keywords. We're underlining the actual question being asked, and we can just X out things that don't help us at all. Information that would not help us. Examples of that would be what, again? So let's say, going back to the problem, it says that Perez has 205 pumpkin seeds. The pumpkin seeds were big and they were brown and they were hard and they looked funny and weird. We just don't care about that. For math purposes, we don't care. Does it make it interesting? Does it give us that visual of what a pumpkin seed would actually look like? Sure. But does it matter for the math? No. That's what I call clutter. It's static for our brain. We don't need that. Ignore that. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to close read this. Then we're going to talk a little bit about adding on to subtract and we're going to model that. Okay? Here we go. Give me just 1 second to get my screen up for you. All right, friends, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully you can see that clearly on your side. So, with our close reading situation, yes, here is a very important piece of information. And here, very important number. When I look at these two words here, I'm going to box them because that tells me that this is a subtraction problem. And why am I doing that with that line there? That just helps my brain. Is that just a dash? No, it is not. That is the symbol for subtraction. That helps my brain. All right, the actual question, this is what I'm answering. How many seeds does Perez have left? That's what we need to know. There are ways that you could do this. We could go back to the number lines that we established yesterday, and we could add on to subtract. What does that look like on a number line? I'm going to show you what that looks like. What we're going to start with is a number line. So here we go. Here's the number line. There we go. Are my number lines going to be perfect? No, they're definitely not going to be perfect. Again, certainly not an artist. We're not looking for perfection here. It's totally fine, my friends. And up here, this helps my brain. That's my subtraction problem. Where am I going to start my number line? I'm going to start my number line with that smaller number or the smaller addend. That's where we begin. Okay? And now we're going to be doing some forward leaping. It's like the leapfrog of math, if you will. So my objective, my goal is to what? I'm adding on to subtract. Where do I stop? I stop when I reach the original 205. That's when I stop on my number line. But I have to get there. This is how we get there. I currently have 137. We're working with base 10, my friends. Base 10 is always easier. So here we go. I'm going to forward jump to the nearest 10. I'm going to forward jump. That is going to be 3 more. And from there, I'm going to need to go to the nearest 100, which is going to be 200. We go to the nearest 100 without going over the original quantity or amount. If I were to go to 500, for example, that would be way too many. We need to go to the nearest 100 without going over the original amount. So that jump is going to be 60 more. I'm not quite there yet. My goal is 205. Almost there. That's my goal. It's 205. I need 5 more. I need 5 more. So, in figuring out this difference, 205 minus 137, I simply add my jumps. So I'm going to have 60 plus 5 plus 3. Where is that coming from? Here, here, and here. I'm simply making an addition problem now. Now I just need to add it up. And when I add it up, I get a sum of 68. I get a sum of 68. Now, could you use the inverse operation to check your work? You definitely could. You definitely could. Because you could take the 137 that you started your number line with, add the 68. So if you take 137, you add the 68 that you just came up with. Oh, look at that. I've just checked my own work. It does match. So, in answering our question and using our strategy of putting the question in the answer, Perez has 68 seeds left. Thumbs up if we're seeing that so far. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so what you are seeing on page 61 in your book is, again, the exact same problem with Perez's seeds. But now, instead of using a number line to add on, we are going to be looking at a place value chart, or this that's in your binder. Okay, so you can see on this place value chart that it's, again, starting at 137. We are adding 3 to get to 140. We start with 140 on the next line, but now we need to get to 200. And to do that, we will be adding 6 tens. That will give us 200. But we're still not done, because now we're starting at 200 and we have to get to 205. So we need to add 5 more ones. So in taking a look at the questions that are being asked, if you start at 137, what is the next 10? We're looking at 140. It's asking how many ones do you add to get to that next 10? You're simply adding 3. So in number 2, it's saying, how many tens do you add to get from 140 to the 100 that you need? Again, that is 6. 140 plus 6 tens, or 60, right? 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 6 tens. Now it's asking you in number 3, what do you add to get from 200 to 205? That's simply 5 more ones. And that's here. And then it's asking you to write an addition equation to show what you added. So it's going to be that same 3 plus 60 plus 5. What am I adding? Right here. How many seeds does Perez have left? That is the sum, which is 68. Now, my friends, this is how I want you to connect this piece. This is being done from a place value chart. What we did before was adding on using a number line. Take a look at the addition equation that we came up with using the place value chart. Take a look at the equation that we came up with using the number line. It is exactly the same.